Call the meeting to order. June 10th, 2024, regular meeting, Ponca City Public Schools. Stand for flag salute. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we gather in gratitude for our outgoing seniors. Bless them on their new journeys. We welcome our incoming seniors who have been shaped and molded through Ponca City Public Schools, guiding them with wisdom and courage. We pray for a safe and joyful summer for all of our students. Refresh our staff, granting them the rest and inspiration needed for a new school year. May our school community thrive with love, learning, and kindness.
Nancy Zimmershed. Here. Judy Troop. Present. Hannah Rowland. Present. Robin Riley.
Here.
Don Newsom.
here. Any public? I just want to say something. I appreciate Robin carrying me on for a couple of months while I've been away from everybody. So I appreciate it, Robin.
Wait a
Did a
minute,
good
there's
job.
1, 2, 3, 4 of us talking. We carry.
He was running the
Carry
show.
Rob, I'm just carrying you.
He was running the show.
We missed you, or Tom.
Miss Robin, too.
Like a sword.
I wish I would have been here. Next item will be 3 is our superintendent's report with potential board discussion.
It's at the very top, that second one right there.
Perfect. Thank you.
Then we're going to do district updates and review the dress code policy and proposed modifications to the fundraising procedure.
Yeah, we got a few things happening this
Can you
summer.
handle that?
I hope so.
Okay.
We're gonna, if we
Turn it over to you.
one of these directors can.
15 minutes.
15 minutes turning now. Man, the new Don Newsom regime, everybody. I love it. Here we go. Running the tight
Get the
ship.
timer on.
Hey, so legislature's done, sign and die. They adjourned, and we have some changes coming in public education, and I think you all need to be apprised of, our community needs to be apprised of. And there's some stuff that even myself, superintendent, and our directors, we're gonna learn more about on Wednesday of this week at the COSTA conference, and in August by the time our OSSBA conference happens for this board. There is some good news, new money coming into the state aid formula. That's always great. It's not a record year like it was last year, but there will be about $26.3 million appropriated in the new state aid formula. My rough calculations, I'm thinking that may be an additional $100,000 to PCPS, but I don't know. Last year they told me we were going to get a lot of security money and should plan on $150,000 annually. And this district now gets $92,000 because the State Department claws some of that. So I don't know until the State Department issues that out to us, how much clause they have on it and what they're going to keep for administrative costs before it gets to your city and Ponca City. So can't really go off that. So with Erica's estimates in her budget, wanted to be conservative with it. If we have some new funds, we'll bring that to this board, talk with our teams on the best ways that we can help improve student outcomes with that money. Redbud Fund, this was the same appropriation levels of last year. If you remember, that brought us up, that's about $360,000 in state money that we get. That helps our building fund with building projects around our district. There's a limitation on the Redbud. There's some legislation that's passed that's going to allow us to be able to use that more like building fund, but we'll get into that a little bit later. $45.19 million for textbooks, that was flat. $2.65 million, this is a new line item appropriation at the legislature for student teacher pay. And it's kind of interesting, in colleges, we make our students that want to be teachers that have to spend a semester student teaching, and we expect them to move to a different district and community and do that for free as part of their educational experience. So this is a new way that the legislature is appropriating money for student teachers to be able to be paid, to be determined on how that will work. Does the district that is having them pay them, or is it the university that's responsible for it? So we still have to work that out. We don't know how that works yet. We don't have guidance. Maternity leave, This is not a new thing. This was a thing they passed last year. They just didn't really have, they had some confusion on how that was going to be funded. So the legislature removed that confusion and said, we're putting $2.5 million in funding for maternity leave. Now, this is not just for teachers. This is full-time employees. So anyone that's a full-time employee, but they did specify it's not for paternity leave. It's only for paternity. So they did specify they only want that going to maternity leave. So big bills that are out there waiting to be signed into law by the governor, and actually this one I think actually was signed, because I made this presentation on Thursday, so I think it was signed on Friday, is in-district transfers, and there's a special provision there. It says by July 1, 2024, so the state legislature declared this was an emergency for our state, and that all of the districts will need to comply with this for the upcoming school year. So if you know, July board meeting, we'll be looking at changing our policy because we'll have some policy that impacts for Ponca City Public Schools. And really this is going to mostly apply to our elementary schools. Why? Because we don't have multiple sites at our secondary level. So our in-district transfers, we cap that and say you have to apply and notify us by May 1st. And after that, we don't take any more. This removes that provision and basically kind of creates some different avenues and pathways there that students and parents can apply to transfer to school that has capacity or ability to serve students there. So it's going to change a few things on how we handle that internally. We'll learn more about this on Wednesday, but in our committee meetings in the next month and in our next board meeting, we will have to update our in-district transfer policy. So we usually try to give the community 30 days to respond, but really there's not much you can respond to on this. This is a law, and we're going to be upholding state laws and make sure that we are following that. So just keep that on your radar. I've been asked a few bills. These are some more notable ones that are waiting to be signed. Now the governor can sign them, or he can not sign them, which is kind of referred to as a pocket veto. He has 15 days after signing die at the end of May to do that, so we're getting close to that time limit here. One of those bills would allow the building fund, like I said, to be able to utilize the red list funds like we do with building funds. There's some limits in it, like you can't purchase a school bus right now with red list funds. But would we consider that? I don't know, but it would give us flexibility if we had to. This was an interesting one, allows a person 13.5 years of age that has a permit to take the driving test. So we could possibly have students at West Junior High or East.
We have no parking.
It would be interesting. There would be a few. I don't know if I want them parking around with my teachers, but that help take the driving education test. A school security and alert response system, House Bill 4073. This was an interesting bill. If you remember a few years ago, we had what was called the rave panic button that was pushed out, and that was an executive order from our governor that said all schools will take this app or utilize this app through the State Department of Ed for school security. It's basically to alert staff and first responders if there's a school shooter or if there's a health emergency on campus, something that would require a whole community action response. What was kind of unprecedented about that was the governor just picked a company and there was no bid process, there was nothing, and just said all schools are going to use it. And they got a contract from the State Department of Ed. So I think some of our elected officials took issue to that it really wasn't a competitive marketplace. And so this bill would kind of open that up for schools to, if they don't want to utilize the rate payment button, which I don't know why, because it was free for schools, but I think other companies to get in with the State Department of Ed to be able to offer their system as a resource for public schools to access and utilize. So, and that's kind of the background on that bill. Senate Bill 526. This is going to be an interesting one if it gets signed, that we will have to kind of do a graphic overlay of our school district infrastructure. We already have, blueprints, but we would have to be able to provide printable and digital action plans to our fire department, emergency medical systems, police departments, entrances, exits, what our evacuation plans are, emergency plans, or any of our exterior areas.
That'll be contractors, be out there wanting to serve.
So, yeah.
There's gonna be a group here
They'll
that'll
make
sell
a
this.
3D for it.
There will be a group that will
We'll
sell
let
it.
that get passed and
I
we'll
assume
see
you're
that
gonna use
in
your
August.
That's what I was gonna say, oh, that's a vendor booth at
Yeah, there'll be a lot of.
There will be, I'm sure this was a vendor pushed bill that
Oh,
would
yeah.
say, hey, we have a software that can help create
Design
this
that.
for these schools.
Does that city already use anything like that?
Kind of like the new math, there's already vendors out there with software on the new math
Mhm.
programs.
Yeah. It's interesting sometimes how state government works when you get all that, but just keep that in mind on the school day. I'm curious if you'll sign that or not. But we'll just have to adapt with it. We'll know this week because that's the timeline that expires. And then this last one, we do already comply with this one, but this requires that each public school coach receive training in first aid, CPR, and have a defibrillator on site. And we have that at all of our events. We have that in our locations. And we have a defib plan in our district already. Bills that failed that I've talked to you about.
Do we really have the defib at every event, or we have it in the AD's office?
Would softball be over at West, is that kind of how that works?
I don't think we have one over there.
Well, I know we don't have one.
We should, we have a defib that comes, the
Like in
coaches
their offices?
Should be in their storage room, yeah, and they can take it out to the field each day.
should. Just keep-
Should, I mean.
Well, I mean, you gotta
need
follow
to
up
follow
on
up on that.
Follow up
I
on
don't,
it.
I don't
Should
think
is the key word.
We attend all.
I know we spend a lot of money on defibs in this district.
Yes, we do.
We spend a lot of money, so administration's doing their part to ensure that our people are equipped with it, so we'll.
But it doesn't
Got
do it
accountability.
in the AD's office.
It does not need to be in the closet, you're right.
That's right.
It needs to, everyone knows that, you need to check those every year. I mean, my first year on this job, I learned that they have batteries that expire,
Yep.
and they have pads that expire.
You haven't used
Every
it
little
yet.
piece on that thing expires.
Currently our athletic trainer goes to the district and checks on
But
them.
the trainer doesn't go to every event.
Correct. Our AD does.
Well, does he take it?
We'll put a defib, we'll put a defib in his truck.
It needs one.
So some of the bills that failed that I'm really sad to see, House Bill 1520, this was the mechanism that would allow teachers to retire and come back and work without an earnings cap. I even thought that they had a sunset clause on that, that, hey, we're just in the next 3 years, you can do this. And even that version failed. He's kind of just a victim of infighting between the House and the Senate. Chaplains to be volunteers or employees of public schools. That one didn't make it over. The increased carryover didn't make it over. Expanding parental choice tax credits, that's the create more eligibility, more funding for it. That did not make it.
Go back to Senate Bill 36.
Mhm.
Didn't the governor sign on, you get 3 exemptions a week from a class period to go to a religion?
3 hours a day that we would have to exempt as students.
And he
If-
signed off on that one, didn't he?
Mhm. Yeah. He did sign
Do you know who's pushing that one? Botanical Group. Yes.
I didn't know.
That was on.
I knew that they had signed that, but, I mean, at the end of the day.
Well, that's a
those kids-
religious group.
Yeah, it is.
I mean,
Those kids still have to meet local graduation
And-
requirements, and
and they have, do we have to give a credit? Now that I couldn't find.
I don't know that. I'll learn that this week
Okay.
on Wednesday.
If they have to give a credit for an elective.
There's.
One credit.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna, I mean, that's all
It's like
Wednesday, it's
126
all school, new
class
school laws
periods
that are coming out.
a week, a year.
I talked to you a lot about school board election changes. Nothing is impacting you all, which that's good news. I think that we'll keep it local, keep it off the national scale, just Ponca City citizens.
It was also, wasn't it a 2-year?
Yeah, there was a bill to amend that 5-year board members or 5-member boards would have an election every 2 years.
I can see why they would think that that would be helpful, but honestly, like, once you first get in, you kind of get.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have you guys trained yet. So
I know.
we haven't
He's the
election
other
too. And they guys don't have to be trained, and, I mean, it's gotta be a give and take then, right? You know, there was bills out there that would change the State Board of Education, and either add members from the Speaker and the Senate Pro Tem, those failed. And really, what was baffling was the bill that limited corporal punishment for students with special needs failed. So, kind of interesting. A big one, this one has signed, and this one is gonna take a lot of work, and we're gonna learn a lot about that this week in our coach conference, but new graduation requirements are coming, it's happening. This board is gonna have some homework to do, because you're going to be a big part of this with the new graduation requirements. And that is, they're adding a fourth component for math, and they're doing these pathways, and the Board of Education, local Board of Education is gonna have input on the 9 pathways that we have to do. 6 will be aligned with ICAP, 3 will be electives. I'm assuming that's the one they mean that the local Board of Education will have input on if they want to approve those or not. Again, I'm gonna learn more about that this week on that, but there are gonna be changes coming to graduation. These do not begin for the incoming students. This would be for 8th graders this year. So they will be 9th graders in 25, 26. And that's when we have to have all this in place.
For this year's incoming eighth graders.
For this year's
They
incoming.
could take this through senior year if they wanted. The way I-
There is a provision that if parents elect and the board approves, that they could start this graduation requirements next year. But I'm gonna learn more about how that
But if
works.
the parents don't approve it, they have till their senior year to take it.
Yes. So here's your homework. The school district shall determine the specific description of the locally approved math and science-based application courses, and then our staff will formally notify the State Department of Education of that specific course description prior to July 1st of each year. So what we have to do, and what this board will have to do, is we have to approve a math course that has the rigor above an Algebra 1 course, or I think it's Algebra, is it Algebra 1 or 2? I can't remember. But we'll,
It's one.
Algebra 1.
Algebra 1, thank you, sorry. There's a lot of laws working in my head right now. But I'm sure a lot of that work's gonna happen in curriculum and happen in meetings here, and we'll have
You
some.
guys do it for
I love
August?
homework. I love homework.
How's that gonna affect the kids that wanna do that concurrent enrollment?
There's going to be a pathway for students that want to do concurrent enrollment. There'll be a pathway for career. They were very clear that they wanted, I see a lot more expansion happening in the career tech sector in the next few years. I think as a response to workforce issues across Oklahoma and even at the local level, that I think that career techs have done a good job of positioning themselves to say, we can do it, just find us some more. And so in the line item education appropriation budget, career tech got some new money this year because of that. They had a good campaign to say we have a 7,500 person waiting list to get into career tech, statewide waiting list in programs. And I think our governor and our elected officials are big believers in seeing that that's an easy way for us to respond to business needs, to get more kids through that. So there's other pathways that they want to make sure that we take care of, and that's AP. They removed the fine arts requirements for graduation. Now, boards can still utilize that as a pathway, but prior to this, you had to have fine arts as a graduation requirement. But now it's going to be an optional thing. The other thing that they made optional is foreign language. You had to have it as a requirement. Now, it's important to note that this is Oklahoma graduation requirements. College admission standards probably are going to make you have a fine arts and a foreign language. Or if you're a student athlete and you're wanting to compete at the Division I level, you better make sure that we have kids that are still in fine arts and foreign language.
It's just about whatever their pathway they're picking.
Yeah. So, there's going to be a lot of work not only on the schools, but on families and parents and community to make sure that we're educating people to say that, your ninth freshman may change their mind by the time they're a senior. And if they change their mind and say, I'm going to be a student athlete and I can get a Division I scholarship, but I didn't take any computer techs or, foreign language, then they're going to have a hard time their senior year. So we're going to have to do a good job of educating and informing and
I've been enjoying listening to Dr. Hawkins before I was the handbooks.
that's the counselor's job.
We are working on
Because
a
we've had
pathway guide
athletes
that
that
collaborates with the
didn't
course
have it.
planner. We're ahead of this game.
Well,
And if
it's
you
gonna
want
be-
help on your homework, there's 16 national career clusters that have pathways. And our in-house career tech are doing great jobs. That's one of our first aligned programs from 6 through 12. So no worries, we're
I just want to
ahead.
give them lots of homework.
Listen, I was
They
trying
give me
to
hard
give
all
them
the
some
time.
answers.
I give you word all that. No. And I think honestly, so I met with Rhonda Baker, the representative from UConn, when she was doing this past year in the legislature, and we had a good talk about it, but she would help educate me on she was hearing from fine arts teachers, foreign language teachers, and I reminded her that those classes are still important and necessary, and there's a place for them. But I think the more freedom we give to students and parents on curriculum choices, and if us as school districts can respond to that by creating options for parents and families to choose from, I think it's a better service in our community and our state. And she agreed. So obviously it passed. Not that I was the sole reason it passed, but I'm going to say I was. I'm the most humble person I know. The new communication bill that passed, House Bill 3958. I talked about this. This was signed into law. This has gotten watered down a little bit. This was that bill that if a teacher or a coach texted or messaged the kid, they had to include parents in that communication. And if they did not include parents in that communication, they were to be immediately suspended. And a district should notify the State Department of Ed and launch a full investigation. And if it was found that the teacher did or a coach did communicate with the student, no matter the subject matter, that they were to be recommended for termination. That has been watered down, so now it's up to and including termination. And it's on any platform that's not a school-approved platform. So on your board agendas now, you'll see an app called Remind. That's one example of a communication tool that our coaches and staff members utilize. So if a staff person is utilizing Remind to let students know about practice being canceled, and it's just a student, this should not trigger an investigation. But if they're text messaging, which is our policy that you're not supposed to be text messaging students, you're supposed to be utilizing school-approved communication tools. So basically, I say all to say this bill's gotten watered down to the point that it is a new law. We'll learn more about it, but I don't think it's the big bad boogeyman that we thought it was going to be.
So is this gonna put more consistency for what, like some of these group meetings, some of these reminds, so they're already long?
Yes, and that's something we've talked about internally. We have Class Dojo and GroupMe and Remind and one Magical. I don't know. When I didn't work for PCPS during COVID, but even as a parent then I thought it was bananas that my fourth grader at Woodlands was doing this and my kid at West was doing that. So we have to do as a district better alignment. So when my kid comes into pre-K, that if it's Remind that we're using, and my senior should be using Remind too for communication. So I don't have to download 14 apps and know what my username and password is. And, I mean, it's good stuff, and I think each school has maybe kind of its own culture on it, but we'll get them to align to
There's
it.
some sort of an app out there too, where they can use, like for sports, that they can catch them up on schedules, or, it's like, it's more consistent,
Yeah.
because it's specific.
Some of them use
for
Remind.
sports.
We're looking at Aptgy, our website group has a communication tool, but even our Power School has a communication tool for parents. So it makes sense that we ask parents to register for Power School. We enter student information system through Power School, so maybe that should be the communication tool we use. So, but I don't know if it's a clean, Dr. Hawkins has been looking into that one for us, so we'll have something good this summer to report on it. But again, this is also an emergency bill, so this goes into effect July 1. There we go. Staffing updates.
Back up
Oh.
a minute. Have you all, I don't think you have, but Wednesday you need to find out how deep do we have to get into cursive, because he assigned that one.
Okay. I don't want to get deep in the cursive writing, but it's a law.
We have to provide it.
No, we do.
We have to
It's
provide
a law.
cursive writing.
It's a law.
Is it just a signature? I don't know.
We'll find out. We'll ask questions on it.
That's a question you need to ask.
And we'll talk to our elected officials too, what the intent on it was. Was it, who's, obviously these laws have people that are pushing it and there's agendas that are pushing it. So what is the reason? Is it people that kids can't do their signature and read signatures, or is it because we really need to be reading and writing in cursive writing? So we'll get more on the intent of it so we can better provide that service to our community moving. Staffing updates on the right there, those are some of our open positions. Jennifer and I is going to step in and tell me because we have been moving on offers and people accepting, pending your approval, of course, Ms. Truce. These are some of our critical openings across the district right now. We do have a career fair on June 25th here, which has been highly successful the last few years on getting staffed up before school. Currently, right now, as it sits, 32 new hires already. 27 openings. This was a Thursday, and I think that's down, what?
We're down, I think I just counted, I think we have 19.
19, so she's made 8 offers and accepted 8.
And we have offers on the table. And since I've been here, I have 2 more offers to make, so we're making progress.
So if you guys would hurry up, we can make offers to get this district staffed up. Or I guess if I would hurry up.
Yeah, we're waiting on you.
Washington Free, I'm having fun up here, this is
You're a
fun.
passion.
The Washington pre-K principal, we interviewed, Ms. Truth's been helping us with that, we've interviewed. I'm actually really pleased with our principal applicants. We've had some great applicants and great interviews, so we're excited. We've got an offer out on that. I hope that we hear back soon on that one. Assistant principal, Poe High.
I have 2 today.
We have 2 that have accepted pending your approval, so that number should actually be 1 now.
And we have an interview set for Monday for another.
Awesome. And we don't have a Poe-High problem, we have a Poe-High growth opportunity where our Poe-High assistant principals are now principals, so we're excited for them to promote and grow. So a great opportunity for us to grow our administration. Our counselors, we had 2, but I think we had an offer.
I have 2 offers, those are the 2 I need to make. I've left a message for one, and I got another offer to make here, sitting here this evening, so.
This could almost be new business. World history, that's at the high school we have open. Oklahoma history and English at the high school, and you can see some of those other openings there. I'm sorry I didn't have fancy transitions, but we should have, by the end of this summer, 59 positions hired, filled. That's barring Tuesday, June 18th it's June 18th, right, Tuesday?
Yes.
Is the last day people can resign before we can start holding their contracts and say, or hold them to their contracts and hold their certificates. So there still could be some flexibility on that. Last year we had 62 hires that were new. I'm hoping it's a little less this coming year. That's a good sign for us on retention, but it's also a sign that we're trying to be a little more conservative in what we're doing. Summer to-do list, hire strong employees, that's what we're trying to do. I mean, we are interviewing and trying to find the best employees out there to bring to our community or to move up in our community in different positions. Lots of construction still happening across the community. Fine arts should wrap up here this month. Concert hall also should be done this month. High school main office, August 1st is our target date, so we can have that all ready to go when administrators and secretaries return back. We have a lot of PD happening this summer in this district, from teachers all the way to myself. Like I said, we got Costa Conference. Something this board and our district should be very proud of is PCPS has been asked to present at both the POSA and OSSBA conference on our successes with our internship program and the way we've been able to meet some of our local workforce needs. So we will be actually presenting at those conferences, the breakout sessions, and very proud of our partnership with PCBA to be able to do that. And I hope that you guys know that we're doing good things, and other districts need to hear some of the good stuff that Ponca City's doing. Then registering students. That starts July 8th, in-person registration, or you can do it online. You can see the hours of operation there, 8 to 4, and Tuesday, Thursday from 10 to 6. So those that work till 5 have an opportunity to get up there and register. I would urge the public, the first week is always kind of a little crazy. The second, it drops off the second and third week, but we want as many people as get in there to get registered as possible, or they can do it online. So it should be a lot easier than it has been in years past. We get this question each year. We do close it on August 1st because that's staffed within district employees, and we have starting back to school meetings August 1st. We have all the admin come down here for ad council, secretaries get all trained in all of their medicines and all that. And then it does look a long time before it reopens on the 12th, but it's the exact same schedule we've had for the last several years. We had an uptake in enrollment last year, so I never heard any conflicts from the community on it. But then classes resume August 21st, and we're going to rock and roll on that. and be ready to go. So I'm hopeful that, like Eric has presented earlier, that we have a continued rebound in our registration. I think in this bill or in this meeting, that something this board needs to be cognizant of, and something we're looking at closely, are the numbers at Union Elementary. There's some housing development that's coming online, should be this, I thought it was gonna be this spring, but over on Fifth and Bradley, I think it's going to come online before school starts, and we could see an influx of enrollment over at Union. So it's something we're gonna be watching for, but I would encourage the public to please get in and register your children so you can save your spot at your school, because we do have class sizes, and if we fill up, we will send them to an area that doesn't have as big of classes there. So get registered, please, and we'll get that going. You guys ready to talk dress code? Let's get these hammered out. Dress code policy, that should be in your packet, in the attachments, the new policy there. Public comment, Christy did a great job of getting on our website and our social media, our public comment page here, where it had the proposed dress code policy and the current dress code policy. Basically, it was just asking for their name, email address, questions, and concerns after reading it. We had 30 members of the public uniquely respond to this, and I'm not going to give you every single one, but honestly, I would sum it up. They said, we love whatever policy you do, just enforce it. And I think that's the same feedback we've heard from this board and from our teachers and our administrators. The other issue was, one person did say, please ensure students are not embarrassed. And I can tell you as a superintendent and former principal and teacher that embarrassing kids should be off the table, and that's not what we're here for. We don't want to embarrass students. Now dress code can be tricky. I mean, and you want to make sure that if it's a female student, that you put female administrator or counselor, and vice versa, to make sure that you try to eliminate an embarrassment. But people's perceptions are the reality, so we try not to step on anyone's toes. But at the end of the day, we do have an obligation to ensure that, I don't know why that's doing that, ensure that our educational environment is maintained. So, what's that? Right. So one thing that we would have to do, and we've already talked about it, and you guys know, is if this is passed tonight, the new policy, we take about a 2-page policy and bring it down to 1 page. It's educate staff, students, and the community in the next few months before August 21st gets here. But we would require BOE action tonight for approval on that. But again, the public response was overwhelming, and they loved it and wanted to make sure that it's just enforced. And we can definitely do that. The other thing I'm asking for BOE action tonight is all fundraiser requests. This will be a blanket fundraiser request for fundraisers that we just do, and they don't really cause a lot of heartburn. And it's actually kind of an easy thing for our district to do, or easy for our employees or our student groups or booster clubs to be able to utilize, that are not controversial and actually probably put a lot of good community vibe out there. Those would be the book fairs, food nights. Freddy's, Chili's, Marco's are some of the examples where if you go into Freddy's, they'll donate 10% of the proceeds that night to that group or school. Pictures, yearbooks, every year we do school pictures, but we have to bring to this board fundraiser requests and fundraiser reconciliations, meet over it, discuss it, and whether or not approve it. And I don't know if any year that we probably would approve the yearbook, but if we had a blanket approval in June each year, then we can just move forward with yearbooks. And Sonic cards, those would be like the $5 Sonic cards you can sell. Silent auctions, bingo nights. I mean, you guys can read those. Names, what was that question?
Was class fees on the original document? I don't believe it was.
Yes, class fees were on the original document. And only if that would be only if they were on the schedule and there's no changes to them. Eric, there was a question. The class fees was on the original document, correct, for blanket approval and authorization?
Yes, class fee is listed on the class fees that we have for
Would
approval.
that be the east and west class fees?
If it's on the schedule, you guys are gonna approve the schedule for the class fees, so you can take that off if you don't want it on there. But right now, for some of the class fees, they're also turning in fundraiser approval requests for their class fees, and we're just saying, if we have already approved it on the class fee schedule, then we don't also need to turn in a fundraiser approval request. They will turn in their request to the business office. We will still see those. They will still have to do reconciliations. I just won't have, like in June, I scanned in 322 pages for, I mean, it had all of the budget, everything in it, but that really muddied down what we need to focus on, because there were so many that were just, Chili's nights we're gonna approve. Chili's takes care of scheduling those. It doesn't cost us money to do it, it just benefits us, so we always approve them. So, and I had like, I don't know, 7 or 8 of them in that packet. So if I could get rid of that, so it's not so muddied down with,
So the issue is really not this, the issue on class fees is a separate issue.
yes, the class fees is,
If we approve them, then this is a done deal.
Right.
Gotcha.
yeah, you'll approve that separately on the class fees.
And a lot of this discussions that we've had in committee this last year, we've had an activity fund committee that's been meeting, a temporary committee, with Nancy and I serving as an advisory on that. And just some of the conversations that we've had with Eric and our team, and talking about how can we, kind of streamline some of the things that they're doing, and also what we're approving. They'll still have to submit the paperwork, or the boosters, they have a Sonic card that they want to do, they'll still have to submit it to the finance office, but we won't have, it'll already be automatically approved, so.
They approved it.
School card approves it.
Right, if the school approves it.
As long as they have the paperwork in. I mean, Chili's nights, she had 7 or 8, but at the end of the year, by June 30th, we're gonna have 30 organizations that do a Chili's night.
Okay,
So
so-
the PTA,
So the board, I've always was told that that was part of our job in the state, is us, we have to approve all fundraisers. But
Yes.
But
We
we're
are.
just approving it for the whole year.
Just these, if they wanna do other fundraisers, that it still will be presented to you. If they would like to do these ones just aren't.
I mean, we can keep bringing them to you. It's just
No,
about-
I wasn't there for last.
This would be your approval on, okay, we don't see any harm with Chili's nights or bingo nights.
I think it's a lot better for this guy.
Now, the class fees, I had that question. Class fees are for extra curriculum, not extracurricular. It'd be on top of the curricular options we already offer, so that'd be for field trips.
They need to take their filters.
And then we can take their field trips. That is a mandate. So if they don't take, if the staff says they don't want to take field trips, we won't collect class fees.
What if some students don't want to take the field trip, but the class still goes on it?
Then I would say, or go to school and have an alternate activity.
Okay. So class fees are optional.
Yeah, we can't hold their feet to the fire and pay class fees. You can't turn a kid away and say you can't come to school. And if we had kids that couldn't afford class fees and do a trip, we would find something for them to, the mechanism to get them on a trip.
We'll do it Friday's.
Friday's night, Board of Education Friday night. So, but those are good questions, good question. And this is new for us. I think this would be a way that kind of, like Eric said, keeps out of the weeds on some of these smaller things and focus on the bigger ones that would raise eyebrows, like more controversial things that we can focus our attention on.
Although there's not, an official approval that we would have to make on these every month, will we still see them in some way? Like,
We could bring them to the activity fund committee. But we can show you guys whatever you want to see. We still, on the directions for it, it says you'll still submit a fundraiser request to the business office, because we still have to have the reconciliation and all of that for our auditors to see. So they're still gonna have to do that. It just won't
All this is doing
be
is
so
we're approving
thick
one
in your
time,
packet.
yeah.
the items on here, so we don't have to approve each one of those every time.
Yes. Yeah. Let you guys focus on
If
one.
you guys want to thumb through Chili's nights, I'll be happy to show you the Chili's nights.
I'm glad that we have one. It's a cool opportunity. It seems like it doesn't make a lot of money, but if you do several of them, yeah, they can make a lot. You have to make sure you mention them when you go there, though. They don't just automatically.
What else?
That's it. Any August, any questions?
No, good job. Next item, item 4, consider and take action to approve or not approve the revised dress code policy 7.22 as presented to the board in the May 13, 2024 16.
Make a motion for approval of item 4.
We have a second?
I will second.
We have a motion second. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Judy Truitt,
Aye.
John Newsom,
Aye.
Nancy Zimmerstein, Anna Roland, Robin Riley,
Nay.
Motion passed. Next item will be 5, consider and take action to approve or not approve the modifications to fundraising procedures by the creation of comprehensive fundraiser approval list for the 25 fiscal year as presented during the superintendent's report.
Make a motion for approval for item 5.
Do we have a second?
I'll say that.
Thank you, Judy. We have a motion and second. Any other discussion? If not, roll call.
John Newsom,
Aye.
Robin Riley,
Aye.
Anna Roland, Judy Truitt, Nancy Zimmerstein,
Motion passed, thank you. Next item will be the consent agenda. Motion to require the approval of the consent agenda as printed or as amended. Board members may, however, can call for a separate vote for any or all items listed on the consent agenda. First one is the minutes on the May 13, 24 regular meeting, contract agreements under 10,000, and resolution of the Ponca City Minute School District to join the Oklahoma School Insurance Group. So I'd like a motion to approve this item. 12 plus 4. Yes.
Or do we need to get the budget first?
No. No.
this one.
No.
Will the budget come after this one?
Yes.
Okay.
And are we also looking for a pass?
Yes, I'm sorry, I looked at activity fund custodians and bond authorization on 24 and 25 fiscal year and administrators designated federal programs for the 24-25 fiscal year.
Though I know in like item 6, the FMX will be a separate discussion and vote.
Yes.
On the consent agenda? Yes, not packet.
Well, you mean on the contract?
Yes.
Well, we'll have to pull all the contracts.
Well, everything else is fine.
Well, we need to talk, we can approve all these except for the.
Except for item 6.
No, we
And
can.
maybe we'll approve it too.
No, I'm talking, the number 2 item in this agenda, we have to wait. No, we need to pull it.
Number 2 is number 6 because it's the contracts.
Right.
Number 6 of number 2.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
We'll wait and vote on that. So I'd just like approval of 1, 3, 4, and 5.
And it'd be 7 through all the rest of them, wouldn't it?
No, 7's in, where you at? I'm on the agenda.
Right. On two consent contracts under
1, 3,
10,000.
4, and 5, that's what we'll vote on now, and then we'll let you talk about whatever it is.
6 and then go to 7 through the rest.
I make a motion
No, there's
to,
not 7.
I make a motion to discuss and approve items 1, 2, 4, and 5 on the
No.
consent agenda.
No.
1, 3, 4,
1, 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah. You have a
Pulling
second?
items, yeah.
Thank you. Second.
Now, which ones are we approving?
Okay, we're approving
Well,
1,
when we
3,
do 1,
4,
2,
and 5 under 6.
Yeah, 7, you
Oh,
get
we're
7,
not
that's,
doing any of those. Yeah, got you. Okay.
that's a different agenda item.
Okay.
Okay. We're good.
Not to correct.
Roll call.
Robin Riley,
Aye.
Don Newsom,
Aye.
Judy Truitt, Anna Roland,
Aye.
Nancy Zimmerstein,
Let's go back to 2. Contracts and agreements under 10,000. So you're looking at contracts.
Yeah, I would like item 6 to be a separate discussion and vote. But I'll make a motion to approve all other items under $10,000 on the attached sheets, except number 6.
Wait, is this the cool one that I like? Is the motion to discuss?
No,
This is the one
number
that I
6
like.
FMX is
Right, it's
the
like,
software that can help us inventory and
right,
asset management, infrastructure.
I like this one, Robin.
Do what?
I like this one.
Okay. I mean, it's up to Dawn whether to have a discussion now or later on it.
No, you asked, you made a motion to remove 6.
Well, to have a
To
separate.
approve
just
all of them but 6.
All of them but 6,
We
yes.
just need a second on that.
But you need a second to approve all but
Yes,
6.
yes.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you, Judy. Roll call.
Just real quick, you know what it entails, like what it's.
No, we're not, we're
just
gonna come
pulling-
back up.
Okay,
We're
okay.
just pulling it from the.
Roll call.
Yes.
Robin Riley,
Aye.
Don Newsom,
Aye.
Nancy Zimmershed, Anna Roland, Judy Drew.
This item is what I asked to have put on, back on at our last meeting, right?
Do what?
I was the one that asked to have this left on.
So,
Yeah.
Are we
6.
discussing?
But we can
Yeah,
have
we're
a
gonna
discussion on it
discuss.
and a separate vote on it.
Right.
So,
I mean,
So is the
you
motion
want to have it now or?
discussed?
Yeah, or we can have a motion, well, we can go ahead and discuss it.
Okay. Here's my concern with it. It would be good, closer toward the next bond issue. But the vendor wants $80,000 to come up and survey all the various things, the 300, 400, 500 things that would go into this database. It could be an Excel spreadsheet for all we know. It's the software package. But Jason admits that his guys will have to do it, and he doesn't want to pay the $80,000 to have FMX come up and do it. So to me, if we don't have enough time for his maintenance guys to go ahead and do it, I mean, they don't have time to mow right now. We had to pay $170,000 for mowers. So how in the heck could we ever break 2 guys loose? And that's, I mean, it may take forever. Plus, the other item is, okay, so let's say that somebody has to input that an HVAC is going to expire in 2028. Okay? We're not going to replace it until it breaks. I mean, not until the next bond issue. So, I mean,
We might replace some of them under regular maintenance.
if they break, we can do it. Or we might do a few, but we're not going to replace every one of them.
No, that's not.
And I don't think we can even, I don't think we can get the big majority of them done in the first year. I mean, if the vendor wanted $80,000 to do it, that's a couple of people. Probably a whole year to do it. I mean, that was my logic.
Well, my
behind
deal
it.
is,
I think it
we're
would
not
be,
gonna
it
have a
would be
bond
good.
issue till 29. We've
for
got
the next
5
bond
years.
issue.
We've got 5 years to work on this, and I mean.
But it's $6,800 each year.
if I'm correct, the
No.
whole thing about it was when you have a lot of turnover, I'm just saying, like, so if Jason leaves, this spreadsheet's here, so he knows in 5 years, he needs to budget this much money for this thing that's gonna come to expire. or
But he doesn't know, all he's gonna do is take 5 years or 10 years or 15 for an HVAC unit. Somebody has to give him how the lifespan of that particular unit.
Correct. So then you're saying it's
You
$80,000.
can't write the unit down and say, this one's gonna expire such and such time.
Or was repaired, or just give any information about that thing, that object. So what your just problem is the power to get all this information in here and paying that much money.
Yeah, we
You're not
can't
that
do much
broke.
with it.
I mean, what? What'd you say, Robin?
I mean, what are we gonna do with it? We're not gonna replace the units that are still working.
But wouldn't your budget?
And I don't think we've got the manpower to do it.
So if I can talk,
Okay.
the current system that we're using for our software program is FMX, and a few years ago, Ryan Dooley, our IT director, had got with a lot of companies to figure out which one works best for our work orders, and because we get work orders submitted through maintenance, IT, and for our Power School program, so it goes to the right person who can help fix that problem. These implementations are just an add-on to a current program right now. The capital forecasting is only about $450 as an add-on. the other elements to this additional $6,000 includes roughly $1,800 of implementation and training. So we get up to 60 days of training on this software. Yes, is it a beast? Is it gonna be a long process to implement some of this stuff? Of course it is. But the thing I have is we have over 1.2 million square feet of buildings, but we don't have a perfect system. And this may not even be a perfect system. I can't tell you what is, but I can tell you between IT, maintenance, transportation, child nutrition, every single, and even athletics, we all set in through several webinars to try to determine what is the best product for us. And we felt like we can continue on with FMX and do these current add-ons and keep trying to improve what we're doing. In this role, there's over 800 units, HVAC units, just for example. We can also tag in, you know, if it's turf, we can put those at a due date. If it's a track resurfacing, we can get a due date. And we can kind of forecast and look at our budgets. And then if people leave in positions, they'll have data readily available at click of a mouse, so they can pull that stuff up and say, this is what we have coming up. It's not like it's just lost forever.
Okay, but if you look at it, look at item H, we've already approved, we're getting ready to approve the $10,200 for FMX that replace tracking.
That's correct.
So really, all we're doing is future forecasting.
Not necessarily.
I mean,
There's also
the way I read
another
it.
element on that. What we're trying to get approved tonight is use of facility requests. It can go on our district website. Currently, what we do is we pass a document from, the parent goes online. If it's a booster club, they get it. They have to send it in the athletic office. The athletic office signs it, then it goes to the high school principal. If it's an athletic situation over at West, say it's softball, then you gotta send it over to them, and then it comes back to me, and then we determine charges and
Would we
fees.
still do that under whether you do a piece of paper or you do it online?
If
It
you,
still has to go through all those steps. doesn't it?
if you go through FMX on their software, you can put all your fees, all your facilities. It'll populate a calendar that has everything that's being used at this time. And so, let's say a PTA group says that they want to utilize Trout Elementary for a PTA meeting. Well, they can go on and see that the lunchroom's already booked. They can also see what the fees are on that, and it has an automated invoicing system built into it. So it's a pretty unique system, and I think it's the way to kind of get your budget, your facilities all under control and under one umbrella. And this isn't the only thing. There's also maps that you can include on this that can show your fire risers, your boiler rooms. You can also
Who populates that?
cameras.
Your guy?
Ryan's already pretty much built one for West. It's pretty cool.
So somebody internally has to do it.
Yeah, yeah. And we'll get that training, and that $6,000 worth of add-ons is gonna cut back by about $2,000 after this year.
So my question, Lisa, do you already have identified staff that's gonna be doing these trainings, or is you and Ryan?
It's gonna be available to me, Ryan, Jason Oswald, our maintenance director, Jeff, trying to get Jeff on board, which I think he is. And so bringing Jeff in on that too, he can put his ovens, his refrigerators on there, and he can also put on there too whenever they need to be inspected, they need to be serviced, so it can be, populated on a good timeline. So, and we need to be able to track this kind of information and have it readily available for our staff. And for me, in my position, I can pull some data and work orders and kind of see what everybody's doing. And hours logged, how much they've spent on changing out a compressor of a rooftop unit, how many parts, or just a little bit of anything. It's a great system. I'd encourage the board, even after this, to sit through a webinar with us, because it's a pretty cool
Is it controlled by
product.
laptops, iPads? What are the-
I think once we start really utilizing this system, We can generate our own QR codes for every refrigerator, rooftop unit, boiler system. And our people can go scan a QR code and it takes them right to that piece of equipment. And then they can put in their time on it, who took that work order, how much the parts cost, and how long it took them to fix it. And ultimately, I think over the course of time, yes, it will help the board make some informed decisions when it comes to bond issues in the future, because you'll have a better gauge of what we actually need and where we're at. And with 5 years looking ahead, I think it's a good time to start this process.
Any other questions? Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve item 6 on the, or on the contract agreements.
No second? Okay. Any other discussion? None, roll call?
Nancy Zimmershed.
Aye.
Judy Truitt. Hannah Roland. Robin Riley.
Nay.
Don Newsom.
Motion passed. Thank you all. Next item will be action items on number 7. We're going to jump over on the number 2 item, consider take action on the district budget for the FY25. I'd like to motion to approve that item.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the district budget and appreciate and thank you for that for the presentation.
Another second, Judy, a second? Thank you, Judy. Any other discussion on item 2? None, roll call.
Don Newsom.
Aye.
Judy Truitt. Hannah Roland.
Aye.
Nancy Zimmershed. Robin Riley.
Aye.
Motion passed, thank you all. And we'll jump back up to the consider take action on the following district financial reports. We had a good meeting, didn't we, Robin?
We did. We talked about all of it.
It was good, though. I think we can have a motion to approve that item.
Are you talking about 1A through T?
Yes, yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
About a second.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Robin Riley.
Aye.
Nancy Zimmershed. Don Newsom.
Aye.
Judy Truitt. Hannah Roland.
Motion passed, thank you. Next item will be 3, consider to take action to approve the amended GMP for Rick Scott Construction for the 10 upgrades with alternates 1 and 2 included. Make a motion to approve that item. Thank you, Jeannie. Do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Second from Nancy. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Don Newsom.
Aye.
Nancy Zimmershed. Judy Truitt. Robin Riley.
Aye.
Hannah Roland.
Motion passed, thank you. Next item will be 4, consider and take action to approve and amend the GMP for Kyler Construction Group for the indoor-outdoor athletic facility with alternates included. We have a motion to approve this item.
Make a motion to approve item 4.
Second?
I'll second it.
Second. Nancy, thank you. Any other discussion?
Jason, what is item 4 what we doing?
When we originally took this item out for bid last July, we didn't get any bids back for bleachers, press box, and signage for the facility. So Kyler Construction put in placeholders, the estimates of what those would be. And it's still, at this point, we're good on our budget. It's, the GMP does not change, but we did get good bids back for bleachers, press box, and signage.
Are we removing one sign at the west end?
Yeah, that's the plan.
And then wouldn't it $40,000-$50,000?
Yes. What we want to do with that is we wanted to put that money into a school board for the outdoor field. We have plans to get it out of a building fund.
School board at first.
School board.
And I was
School
like,
board.
the school board. Sorry.
Where you guys are gonna meet from now on?
Yeah,
So we're taking out a sign and using that same amount of money for another project, or another
Inside
addition.
the project.
Okay. Y'all aware that there's not gonna be a sign at the west end?
Right.
Okay.
We
Inside.
had that meeting.
I think I talked about it a couple of days ago.
On the inside.
Yep.
You'll still
They're gonna
know,
put our faces up there.
you'll still know you're in a Ponca City Public Schools facility.
Oh, yeah, still got the big outside sign.
You're gonna have a big sign.
Did I, we're waiting on
I think that we already had
We
a
have-
motion.
the, we have a motion
Made
second?
in a second.
Oh, okay, we're discussion.
Yeah.
All right. Roll call.
Robin Riley,
Aye.
Nancy Zimmerstein, Anna Roland, Judy Truitt, Don Newsom,
Aye. Motion passed, thank you. Next item will be discussion, motion, and possible action to approve or not to approve the entry into the agreement enter.
It's good to make.
Good luck. Into an agreement with the Cooperative Council for the Oklahoma School Administration, participating in the Coastal District Level Services Program for 24-25 fiscal year.
Make a motion to approve item 5.
For a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Nancy. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? None, roll call.
Anna Roland, Robin Riley,
Aye.
Don Newsom,
Aye.
Nancy Zimmerstein,
Aye.
Judy Truitt,
Good, next item, reading number 6, consider and take action on the motion approving the renewal of sublease agreement dated May 1, 2022 between the district and K County Public Building Authority for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025, as required under the provisions of the agreement. Have a motion to approve that.
Motion to approve item 6.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussions, none, roll call?
Nancy Zimmerstein, Judy Truitt, Don Newsom,
Aye.
Anna Roland, Robin Riley,
Aye.
Motion passed. Thank you. Next item will be 7, consider and take action to approve individuals to act on behalf of the districts to the authorized payment for the improvement fund for the K County Building Authority Services, the 2022 bond. Need a motion to approve that item.
Make a motion to approve item 7. Adam, Erica, and Jason. The approved individuals.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Robin Riley,
Aye.
Nancy Zimmerstein, Judy Truitt, Anna Roland,
Aye.
Don Newsom,
Aye. Motion passed. Number 8 is consider and take action on the appointment of board authorization for the treasurer, minutes clerk, deputy minutes clerk, board clerk, deputy board clerk, encumbrance clerk, and the purchasing agent for the FY 25 school year. Like a motion to approve. All right, thank you. Second from Nancy.
I'll second it.
For discussion, roll call.
Nancy Zimmerstein,
Aye.
Robin Riley,
Aye.
Judy Truitt, Anna Roland, Don Newsom,
Aye. Motion passed. Next item will be number 9, consider and take action on the approval of science and mathematics courses for the private taken at the Pioneer Technology Center. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion for approval.
Thank you, Mayor. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Nancy. Any other discussion?
Is that the one, well, obviously, we have to do this every year. Is this the one where we split the revenue with them, Adam?
No. That's
Okay.
This is just something that,
Yeah, this is just an annual
This
approval.
is some kids that are enrolled in Erica's classes, credit for it. Before we finish.
roll call.
Anna Roland,
Aye.
Don Newsom,
Aye.
Judy Truitt, Nancy Zimmerstein, Robin Riley,
Aye.
Motion passed. Next item will be 10, discuss Motion and possible action to approve or not approve a partnership with Tigers Health to apply for the Hope Squad grant. Make a motion to approve this item. Yes. Yeah, we talked about it.
I'm sorry, I'll make the motion to discuss item number 10. And then give a little bit of background.
Doc?
Sorry, I didn't pass it on to her.
Since it's in Tigers Health, we're gonna call the doctor to this podium. The doctor comes up.
The Ross thing. Yes, did you have a question?
Yeah, just give you a little 1-2 on it real quick, sorry.
Okay.
She was traveling.
Tigers Health has taken over our health facility here in Ponca City. And Superintendent Leaning, myself, Jennifer Dye, we met with their executive board, their community partners, and their lobbyists, and the CEO, right, Mr. Chavez? And they discussed with us this grant opportunity. They have done this with other schools in communities where they have a hospital. And it's focused, they'll pay, the grant is to pay for the curriculum in this program. This program's also, Hope Squad has also been, I actually sat in a webinar on it about January with high school administration, because it was recommended by Dr. Pennington and the AASA, the American Association of Superintendents. So it wasn't the first time I had heard of it. I did a little more research on it, and Mr. Shelton at East, I spoke with the 3 head principals, Mr. Shelton, Ms. Satry, and Mr. Tagliatella, to see if they were interested in investigating it further, and they said they were. They all 3 said that one of their greatest concerns right now is culture, the positive culture of their schools, and trying to get it back from, back to pre-COVID, really. I hate to even say that word. But we've seen an increase in behaviors and emotional and mental and psychological student negativity or, So they would like to see anything that promotes students leading the mental well-being of other students. And really, to break it down as simply as I possibly can, the process, as I understand it, there is a curriculum, there is training, and then students nominate other students, kind of like if you guys all voted on which one of the board members you trusted to confide in or talk to.
That's a
We
new
won't
metaphor.
do that,
New
but you know what I'm
metaphor.
saying? And then anonymously, you say, this person, if that's what makes your Hope Squad. The students are actually, nominating other students of who is helpful and positive and kind, or just listens, a good listener. And then there is a staff sponsor. All 3 secondary sites said that they would probably ask a counselor to do that because it correlates to what that individual already does with student and the student body. So then the facilitator, the sponsor, is trained in the curriculum, and then the students get training in the curriculum. And really all it is, when you break it down, is it helps the students tell the other student who may be having a bad day or struggling with something at home who to contact at the school, or puts them in contact with the right person, rather than, because we know the kids talk to each other anyway, and we know kids are more likely to talk to other kids, and what information are they giving each other now? Hopefully it's good, but that's a hopefully. So not only promoting that positive school culture, developing student leadership, but also helping put students who may be in trouble or at risk or having a really difficult time in touch with the most appropriate adult possible.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Yeah, you mentioned 1,500 and 1,800 being the curriculum paid by Integrity, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
those are 2022 prices, Robin.
Right, but it also talked about a possible stipend for each
Yes.
site staff sponsor.
That would be
Or-
something.
Are you asking us to approve a stipend?
I'm not in this, that's in a different place.
So how much time would it be during office hours, or would it be after hours, or what?
This would be extra duty, yes,
After hours?
yes. It would also be, you know, if needed during the day, they're not gonna say, so no, sorry, wait till after 3:45. But yes, they would have some training, that would be included, and it was minimal. It was a very minimal, it's just really saying, thank you for being a sponsor, and your outside of contract time is worthy, and you're gonna attend this training.
So
And
we're
it
not
would be
approving
relative to
stipends.
number of students
Correct.
as well.
If this board was, any stipend before this board would have to be a part of the negotiated agreement.
Yes, that's why it says may. The verbiage is,
Okay.
it may lead to a stipend if board approval and negotiations.
Okay, thank you, Rick.
Did they discuss, I'm sorry, one question, did they discuss FERPA or anything, like, is there anything that they would have to worry about with that with students?
That, no, because the students don't have access to other students' school
I guess I'm
records.
just thinking records, but
Right,
as far as
and
privacy.
any information that the student would be giving another student or going to that student, and saying would be shared by the student to student. The training is really just for the students who are identified as Hope Squad members, to appropriately know what to do if another student were to
Right,
contact them.
that's what I like that, this is safeguards on, okay, now they know exactly what to do in that situation, as opposed to maybe a friend who was told, I don't know how to handle a suicide situation with my friend, and now they have the tools.
And unfortunately, we've been through some of those things. So any help we can get kids to go to the right place and get the help they need is good. In my opinion.
And we felt as administrators, we had responsibility if the organization, one of the largest employers in Oklahoma, approached us and said that they would like to help our kids and fund it, that we would be remiss not to present that to you as board members, that as a service to our community, demonstrating our willingness to partner with outside organizations to help our kids. So I was really impressed with the new leadership team at Integris. Chris Mendoza, the current CEO, is a holdover from Alliance Health, and I was really glad that they saw value in keeping him here. And I think, Don, you're still on that board, correct?
Yes.
So I'm really encouraged with the future direction of our hospital. I think they're going to do good things for our community.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Hopkins.
Yeah, I had made the motion, and they.
You move a second.
Got it.
All right, roll call.
Judy Truitt. Robin Riley.
Aye.
Nancy Zimmershed. Anna Roland. Don Newsom.
Aye. Motion passed. Next item is 11, discuss possible board action regarding the following contracts and agreements. I'll run through these. A is estimates are from the American Roofing and Roof Repair, Trout Elementary. B is agreement with Randy Odd, the independent contractor to provide speech therapy services. C is ratification of agreement with Blue Mark Energy LLC to sell and deliver our natural gas. They were from last year, correct? Okay, well, let's see. I forgot to ask that to me. Agreement with Chatterbox Speech Therapy Z LLC for a speech language pathologist clinical development. E is agreement with Chatterbox Speech Therapy LLC to provide online speech and language evaluation services. Teletherapy. F is agreement with the city of Ponca City for 2 school resource officers. G is a quote for Creamer's Construction Company for concrete repairs throughout the district. H is a quote from FMX for an annual renewal of the maintenance management system. I is ratification of the agreement with Galaxy Business Equipment Incorporated to provide copiers for the Ponca City Public Schools. J is the agreement with Gallup Inc. for access to assessment and evaluation software programs for the use by human resources. An agreement with Heartland Payment Systems with EBA Heartland School Solutions for software to be used at all sites by Child Nutrition. An agreement with ISE International Student Exchange for a foreign exchange student to attend the Ponca City High School for the 24-25 school year. M is agreement with the level of data to provide software to connect PCPS systems, entire school, active directory, Google, Wingate, and the Lutra kids. And Ian is the agreement with Angela Mana, however she pronounces her name, for the school psychology services for the Ponca public school students. And, you haven't found any for any of these other positions, have you yet, to replace?
For school psychologists,
Yeah.
we have hired additional, we are sitting at counting her. She's part-time, one of our others is part-time and one full-time, and a district of our size could benefit from about 8 to 9 of them. So we're not there yet, but
Okay.
I'll
Just
give you
asking.
one.
Yeah.
We got one more.
Let's see.
You were up.
Pete? Oh, no.
Did you next to you? You did next to
Oh, no, I didn't, sorry. Oh, ratification of agreement with Nakiva to provide phone service. He is the agreement with Oklahoma School Assurance Group, POSAC for workers' compensation insurance, agreement with Renaissance Learning Inc. for assessing reading and math levels program. R is this agreement with Rosenstein Fist and Ringo for district legal services, and the S is agreement with Superior Vision Consulting for Braille certified digital impairment services. And T, agreement with Taylor Therapy to provide a licensed physical therapist for physical therapy services for students enrolled in PCPS.
You want to reread that's what we're talking about?
I'll make a motion to approve 11A13.
All right, great, thank you.
Chris said they did pick it up on the bill, so he's going to need you to reread.
Yeah. Right.
I'll second it.
You
We
did.
have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Yeah, I've got a question on A and H. How much, Jason was supposed to come up with how much we had in the insurance settlement for roof repairs. Because it's my understanding that several hundred thousand of those dollars went elsewhere. So is that coming from the actual insurance settlement? Because it's my understanding that the insurance settlement transfers through the business fund.
I'm not sure. I'm told that the money went into the building fund. In this insurance settlement, the Roosevelt re-roof and Union re-roof came out of the building fund as well. And so this is the same process that
So
we
it's
did
about
last time.
$500,000 is what I was
Mhm.
left in the insurance.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's coming from the insurance, okay. On
H.
that's what I thought, but I want to confirm that. H, no, G. Why would that, because I think we talked about this in property, that should really come from the bond issue, not from the building fund.
Yeah, can I take that one?
The concrete, we have like $1 million in the bond for concrete work. That's the one that we talked about, Don.
Right.
We had, when we had to move funds around to finish up some of the projects, we had moved a portion of the district paving, went to building fund. I'm trying to keep clean lines on which projects are being put where. Bond 33, I put the tennis complex project there. So, and then you have your textbooks, technology, and that still comes out of bond 33.
But wouldn't the concrete come from the bond issue?
No, so it did.
It
Huh?
did.
It did.
It did, but we had to shuffle the funds around, so it got put in building fund. I'm trying to keep it as clean as possible. I want the projects kept together so we can track exactly how much we're spending where. I don't want it split up between, so the cleanest place to put it was in building fund.
So is our building fund knocked down to 30-some thousand, or it doesn't?
This was in my
The
initial.
bond
plan.
issue, is it knocked down to $30-some thousand?
Yes.
Even though it looks like it's in the building fund? I mean, it says on the form that it's coming out of building fund.
This one is out of building fund, yes.
So it's not out of the bond issue?
The district paving is no longer from the lease revenue bond.
We had to move that over.
We had to move it.
You moved the whole $1 million?
A portion of it, yes.
we're gonna satisfy the bond language.
We talked about it, that meeting.
That was,
talked about-
that was a
we
couple
talked
months,
about-
April, we talked about it.
That we decided to run it out of the bond issue, which was a thing Erica said she did,
Yeah.
by moving
Let's-
$500,000 or whatever into building fund.
Yeah, and we utilize those funds to knock this project out, or the district-wide paving. But when we had to move some of those funds, like the high school main office, we moved from bond fund into general fund because it was just a remodel, or, yeah, general
Yes,
fund. And,
that's correct.
because we had to make up for some inflationary costs.
So it's really coming out of the bond issue, even though it doesn't look.
Eventually, it gets there, if you follow the money. it'll
Yeah, if you follow the money enough,
It'll get to the.
it will come out of there. Okay. That's the only question I had on.
Roll call. Would you, yeah, we have a second person, second.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nancy Zimmershed. Robin Riley.
Aye.
Anna Roland.
Aye.
Judy Truitt. Don Newsom.
Aye. Motion passed. We need executive session. Motion in Ponca, meeting in executive session for the following purposes to discuss possible termination of reassignment, resignation, employment of personnel as detailed personnel reports, to discuss negotiations, to discuss the purchase of appraisal of real property. Like a motion to go into executive session. So. Motion by Ann and second by Nancy. All right. Roll call.
Robin Riley.
Aye.
Judy Truitt. Don Newsom.
Aye.
Anna Roland. Nancy Zimmershed.
Motion passed. We're in executive session. Let's return to open session. Minutes of the executive session were kept by the board's minute clerk and will remain confidential. 15, consider and take action on recommendations or termination, resignation, reassignment, right?
Yes.
Resignation and employment of personnel. Having trouble too. Been away from this too long. Like a motion to approve 15.
I'll move to approve it.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? None, roll call.
Robin Riley.
Aye.
Anna Roland. Judy Truitt.
Aye.
Nancy Zimmershed.
Aye.
Don Newsom.
Aye. Motion passed, thank you. I don't think there's any new business, is there?
No, sir.
How about a motion to adjourn?
No, I like it.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Or whoever first?
Nancy, and then you.
Roll call?
Robin Riley.
Aye.
Nancy Zimmershed.
Aye.
Anna Roland.
Aye.
Judy Truitt.
Adjourn.
Oh.
Don Newsom.
Motion passed, we're adjourned.